The worst thing you can do when you are starting in entrepreneurship, I'm going to jump right into it. You see, most people start when they are transitioning from being an employee and they are now thinking of doing business. And maybe that's you today. Well, I want to give you around about 7 pieces of information that can literally help you in your transition. So the first one is that I have seen that many people do not have enough money to actually support themselves or the family. Why do I say that? I say this because I did it myself when I jumped the ship the first time round from being an employee to into entrepreneurship. So what do I mean by this? I think it comes through into 2 spaces. And the first one is that if you're employed, you're already earning a salary and you're dependent on that salary, right? And now you're transitioning into a space where you're becoming an entrepreneur. And within this entrepreneurship, you have never been there before. So the best thing that you'd want to do is to have some form of savings. And I generally want to say that any form of savings is good enough rather than nothing at all. So we can go on to talk about, is plus minus 3 months a good savings? Is plus minus 6 months a good savings? Like I said, any form of savings is good savings. However, I am not a big fan of savings because that money is sitting and it's doing nothing for you. So yes, we would want to have a plus minus 3 months at a minimum, but maybe in a good space, plus minus 3 months of all of your expenses. That's what I mean. However, my best case scenario is that if you're to jump into entrepreneurship, try to avoid this. So instead of having a savings, can you actually have a business whilst you're being employed that is going to cash flow, or should I say that's going to give you income whilst you are already still being employed? So in that case, you actually do not need to be having enough money being set aside because you've got an income that's coming through. So let's take an example. Let's assume that you're earning around about 20 grand. Within this 20,000, and you are now have a business, let's say a property, and within this property, maybe you have 2 or 3 of them that you've bought whilst you're still employed, and they're giving you a collective of 20 grand. Within this 20,000, and then maybe you can now put aside 3 months of that savings of that property, and you're continuously getting an additional 20,000 on a monthly basis, and then that way you can then jump the ship. My friends, I did this. I didn't have more than 6 months, and things went belly up at some point, and I started getting worried. Why do you want to have enough money on a base? Because if your home front is sorted, then nothing else matters, because you can be able to fend for your kids. You have some savings that you've got there. So for this reason, you are able to go and work and experiment being the entrepreneur that you want to be. So entrepreneurship is not bad, but that is just that there's some worse things that you can do, especially when you're starting off, and that was my number 1. So try to avoid that as much as you can. My name is TJ. It's great to hang out with you. And if this is your first time being here, and if this information is great to you, you may just want to hit the like button. And as I go through and give you some more tips, I'm actually going to give you around about 7. So we've just gone up until 1. The second one is that not understanding your finances in the business. So this is a new business. You're going into entrepreneurship. You've never done it. And maybe you've been an exec or you've been a senior manager at work. And a lot of things has been done for you with other people. So now you're going into this particular business and you are trying to create this business, but your finances, you yourself don't understand them. So I'll give you an example. Renting a property, when you buy a property and that's your business, or let's assume that's the business that you're going into, basically getting an income and then paying the bank and then the profit, that's not the only expenses that you have. If you're now running that as a business, you're going to have plenty of other expenses. Do you understand them? So do you understand holistically this business? I would encourage you to engage very early on with a bookkeeper. A bookkeeper is someone who is going to look at your day-to-day transactions. So you will have what is called a profit and loss. So you're going to plan that, and boom, you got a profit and loss. And then thereafter, you have an accountant who can oversee this whole process to say, are you doing the right thing? Hey, if your missus or your bra is an accountant or bookkeeper, avoid doing that. Go through to a professional. So not understanding your finances is another one of the worst things that you can do when starting in entrepreneurship. The third one is that not creating a solid business plan. I've had many businesses, some that have made me money and some that have literally failed, right? I've been in chicken business, I've been in car rentals, I've been in real estate now for a minute, I'm still an author, and all of these businesses, I can testify to you that many of them, I had no business plan at all. And in hindsight, today I look at some of the business that I'm doing now, where I start off with a business plan, and I'm like, a business plan is important. Why is it important? It becomes your compass into what you're trying to do. You can also try to see what may go wrong or what is going to go right. What is your strength in all of this, and what can you do? What can you send to other people? Do you have the money to do all of these things? So you can see some of your pitfalls before they actually happen. So having a business plan is important. The fourth one is not marketing the business enough. Oh, yes. I am sure wherever we are, we have always been hit with so much marketing. We go outside on our phone, big companies are always marketing to us. Why are they marketing us to us? Well, it's simple. If nobody knows you, they're not going to do any business with you. So you started your consulting firm because you were a consultant at your workplace. Well, they promised you that, look, if you leave, we're going to give you a job. We'll give you a contract, not a job. We'll give you a contract, right? But if that contract doesn't come through, how else are you going to market yourself? Recently, in one of my coaching sessions, I met up a lady who says to me, TJ, I am spending 500 Rand on my marketing. And I said, whoa, 500 Rand. What are you doing? I'd like to know. And she says, well, I went to print some brochures and I post them on my Facebook. I said, but that's not marketing. That's just you posting, right? So how do you get to people that don't know you? People that has never heard of you. If you are just posting on your Facebook, these are the people that already know you. So you're keeping them engaged. It's not marketing. Marketing is to go out there and reach as many people that didn't know you. So I see a lot of people, well, I don't want to say I see a lot of people. I did this myself when I was starting into entrepreneurship. So I don't want you to do the same mistakes. I can help you in some of these things, like I'm helping this particular lady. The fifth one is that not staying organized and focused. I had this problem until like super recently. You see, when you become, or you see, when entrepreneurship kicks in, and you become an entrepreneur, basically you start thinking that, oh, you've got all this time to yourself because you're no longer going to work. So you are getting stuck in traffic around about 2 hours and maybe even 3 to 4 hours. And now you've got that time back. And over and above that, you were like 8-9 hours at your employer. And now you've got that time back. And the reality of being into entrepreneurship is that every minute counts where you're not making money. Because at the end of the day, end of the month, the bucket is going to stop with you to see whether there is money to pay the bills. The bills in your business and the bills for you as an individual. So I did this quite a bit. I went all out. I went into that business. I went into that business. I went into that business. So-and-so called me. I was there. So-and-so wanted to meet up for a meeting. I was there. So-and-so wanted to meet up with coffee. I was there. So all of those things, did they bring in any income? So I was not staying focused or organized at all to things that matter the most. What are the things that matters the most? Well, you're an entrepreneur, you're into entrepreneurship, you are in it for the money. So are all of those things that you're doing bringing in any money? And if the answer is no, you don't have to do it. Oh, TJ, what about a coffee? You know, the coffee might just become a business in the future. Great, that's okay. but dedicate some time to it so that you have a clear understanding of when are you building the business and when are you making money in the business. The two are different here. Building is like business development. That's why you see a lot of business developers that go out there, they meet with the who's and who's, and just to create some form of development into the business and to create a pipeline. But your need as an entrepreneur is making money today before you can go out there and create this big pipeline. So how best do you balance the two? Looking into the future and making money today. Because if you don't make money today, you don't have that future business. So what's the whole point of going to have coffee with that person and that business is coming in 2 years? Well, you need money today. The next point is that not building a strong team. I am sure as an employee, you actually had people that were reporting into you. And they were doing many things, from administration to marketing to accounting. I remember when I was at the bank, I had a lady that used to look after our marketing. I had a big team in the technology space. I had a product manager. I had a comms lady. I had an HR person. I had all of these people, resources disposed to my available to my disposal. Even though they were not 100%, but when I needed them, they were there, including mentors and so on. But now that you're into entrepreneurship, these people don't exist, and you need a team. And the biggest problem that we have as entrepreneurs is when we go out there now to start a team, we always assume that we need to pay them. Not necessarily so. There is many ways in which you can work with other people and you don't have to pay them. But I am also not saying that you should not pay for professional services. Pay for it. But if there's a way that you can even barter trade, what do I mean by that? Back in the days, there was no money. So if you wanted my chicken and I needed your goat, we would trade a chicken for a goat. Maybe 5 chickens to 1 goat. You know what I mean. But the bottom line is I would get whatever you wanted and you will get whatever you want from me, and if the value is the same. So not building a strong team right in the beginning, because you are not superstar. You are not a superman or super lady or whatever that we want to call ourselves, right? You do have some limitations. So because you have limitations, it's important to get some other people that can do this. Now, in recent times, we have seen so many freelancers that will come in, just like what you had at your employer, where they would come in and do a specific service and they will pay you a small amount of money. So from an accounting perspective, they're going to just come in and do accounting once every month and you pay them 500 Rand. From a marketing perspective, they will come in and do your marketing for 1,000 Rand. So you don't it's not these big budgets that you're thinking of, because whilst you're at your employer, you used to manage these big things. It's different. The game is different. So you need to think within the game. Then the last one I want to share with you is I almost gave up. So the number one, worst thing you can do when starting into entrepreneurship, yes, the first one was all about money, being able to support you and the family. But the one I think is the worst one, and which I think is this one here that I'm going to give you, the last one, is that a lot of people give up too soon. Yeah. What do I mean by that? Well, before I go on, I'm hoping that this information has been great. There is what is called a subscription button. You can hit the subscribe button, and with that, you'll be able to get more information. But I can also help you. I'm going to leave a comment in the comment section, just in case you need some help around this entrepreneurship and you're trying to navigate what can you do, how you can do it. And within that, you can reach out to my diary and I can start to help you. I've been helping out quite a lot of people, and they've been starting off their businesses, scaling their businesses. And hey, you can call me whatever you want to call me. Call a coach, a mentor, whatever it is. But I am there to help you. Now, giving up too soon. We have seen this a lot in many spaces, right? You grind, you grind, you grind, you grind. And at some point, something is going to give. If you're doing correctly and you've got someone else who's guiding you, right? The moment that you're going to give up, you have already built some momentum. And that momentum is starting to pick up. So do not give up for whatever that you have started off, right? And then you're going to see some fruits, and you're going to see an upscale, and you're going to see some big results. And then we can come back to all of these things on how best can you put up your business plan, how best can you put up your marketing team, how best can you have a solid team, how best can you now create your own income in the business, and how best can you create the big income in your business. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, TJ. It's been great hanging out with you. I wish there was a video like this one when I started. Or should I say, I wish I was able to listen to such kind of videos right to the end before I started off my entrepreneurship. But these are the worst things that you can do when starting off in entrepreneurship. And I'm hoping that you can avoid them to your success. It is I, TJ. We'll check you out, yes, in the next video.